Life is a song. And what if your faith could help you hit the high notes? Grammy-nominated and Dove Award-winning artist Torrin Wells invites you into The High Note.
It's The High Note.
A podcast about real life, real struggles, and a real God who meets you right where you are. With honesty, insight, and encouragement, Torrin tackles the issues you're facing every day and helps you rise above the noise. If you're ready for a fresh perspective on your faith, tune in to The High Note podcast with Torrin Wells.
Welcome to The High Note.
Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970, The Answer.
Hey, Alex. Pray tell, what's the name of that tune, my friend?
Good evening, my friend. It's called Epic Graduation by Golden Sound Labs. By the way, 13 years ago yesterday, I graduated Queens College.
Well, mazel tov, mazel tov. And look how far you've come, my friend. It's graduation season 2026, and something wild is happening across America. The kids who make up the class are not playing nice, Mert. During commencement speeches, they're not politely clapping, do the usual follow your dreams fluff. No, sir, they're straight up booing speakers who dare to praise artificial intelligence. That's right. Mention AI as the next big thing, and the crowd turns into a sea of jeers. Yes, there are viral videos blowing up from the University of Central Florida, the University of Arizona, Middle Tennessee State, and many, many more. And Bert, this isn't some isolated tantrum. This is a movement, a raw, angry pushback from young people staring down a job market that feels rigged against them. Now today, we're going to deep dive into this controversy. Are these entitled little snowflakes afraid of hard work, or are these graduates legitimately terrified that AI is about to steal the jobs that they just spent 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars preparing for?
Listen. This is a issue that I'm hot and cold on, because I think about it, and I think about sitting in my room and it's 90 degrees outside, and I have this nice fan blowing that's keeping me cool, keeping me protected from the heat outside. And I just realized that technology has benefited us tremendously in more ways than we can even imagine, and I'm pretty sure that at some point in time there was a way to cool off that required somebody doing a job that no longer exists. I just use the fan now, but some poor guy 50, 60, 100 years ago lost his job to the fan. But we can do that.
What do you mean? You mean some slave that was fanning their owner? Come on.
Well, if you want to be dark and go in that direction,
well, who else is going to fan?
I'm thinking the emperor had the fan.
The emperors, the Egyptian kings and queens.
Because Mert's always been a king, and in my past lives, I've been very royal, so I probably would have had, a subject, fanning me, keeping me cool. But everything gets replaced, and if you don't adapt, you will be replaced too. But the good thing about humanity is there is danger in having a bunch of people out there doing nothing. It's very dangerous to have a population of worthless individuals. So usually the smart people find stuff for you to do because it's in their best interest. Because how do we keep selling stuff? Well, we got to keep people working. So as much as everybody's afraid of losing their job, well, the job you're looking at, it might disappear. But don't worry. Just keep looking. You'll find something, and you're going to have to adapt, because at certain points in history, certain groups have been hit hard by technological shifts. This happens to be one of them. With AI, a lot of people are about to be made obsolete. Your degrees are going to be made obsolete, but that's okay.
How is that okay, bud? How is that okay?
Because what's coming next is going to free you up. It's going to allow you to be more creative. It's going to allow you to push yourself. You're going to have to be more creative. You're going to have more fortitude. You're going to have to experience something that people have experienced throughout the generations. You're going to have to evolve in order to survive. And if you want to keep things the same as they've always been, that's not how evolution works, and you will realistically die out while somebody else adapts and improves and becomes the standard. This is what we're facing.
Lucas, I know where he's coming from on this stuff.
Yeah, you see that?
Because this is exactly the kind of speech that was getting booed and is getting booed at university campuses throughout the country, Mert. You are saying almost verbatim what the speakers who getting booed. There was one speaker, her name is Gloria Caulfield. She's vice president of strategic alliance at Tavistock Development, and she was speaking at the University of Central Florida commencement. She's up there trying to inspire, right? And she drops this line, which was very much what you just said, Mert. Let's face it, change can be daunting. The rise of artificial intelligence is the next industrial revolution. Well, guess what? That's right. The crowd went boo. Okay? And then she was shocked, and she tried to redeem herself, Mert, and they didn't.
Oh, that's the worst thing you can do. That's the worst thing you can do. What she should have done is say, all right, okay, if everybody wants to get rid of AI and technology, everybody hand me your phones right now. But not everybody in here. I want everybody throughout the world, turn your cell phones in. Turn your TVs in. Turn all the technology in. Let's get back out there and start growing our own food. Let's go back out there and start hunting animals if you want to eat meat. Let's go back and give everybody jobs for real. But if you're not willing to do that, knock it off.
You know what I think the problem is, Mert? Let's get right to the core of it. Here they are at universities. They spent about 4 years, right? Tens of thousands of dollars. Some of these schools, $35,000, $40,000 a year, Mert. So 4 years later, we're talking what? $160,000? It's some of less, right? Some of more. $160,000 only at graduation to be told whatever they trained for was obsolete. My humble opinion is the universities failed them. That, I think, is the underlying problem. How do you have kids throughout the country graduating with jobs, with degrees that will serve no practical purpose? That's the problem, Mert. That, I think, is what they were really booing. They are not prepared for this reality.
We spoke about this maybe last week or a few weeks back about how education
has failed them. It's failed them.
But I don't think it's the idea behind the education. I think it's attaching education to Wall Street and big business that has failed us, because everybody for a certain period of time was able to get a student loan, and it became good business to promote going to college so that people would take out these tremendous loans that they would have to pay back, but you would almost guarantee they'd pay it back because you could come after them, and they're going to college. See, it's the best. That's the best loan you could probably give out to somebody who's going to go to college and get a job. And at one point that might have worked, but people start to realize, they're not probably going to get a job, and they're probably not going to be able to pay that back without accumulating, interest that might rival the initial amount. So it became
getting further into debt. I understand what you're trying to say.
It became a capitalistic.
But this has been the problem. This has been the problem with education for decades, slowly but surely, with kids telling me they don't see the value in a college degree.
That's because it's not connected to them. It's not connected to their environment. It's connected to something on Wall Street or some big corporation that says.
Now AI. See, I guess we're on the same page. AI has made it even worse, my friend. There's total disconnect because they studied for a degree in the arts, humanities, political science, whatever, that worthless.
Well, humanity is going to become a feature that is optional in a little bit. Do you want something that's human and full of flaws, or do you want something that's perfect and doesn't get your order wrong and doesn't charge you at the wrong time? Do you want something that is AI, or do you want something human? The human experience will be a preference, and those who choose the human perspective of the human option, they will have to deal with the imperfections of humanity. And I think this is why you will see, and we're already seeing it, most people will gravitate towards AI, because who is patient enough to deal with mistakes if there's a better solution out there? So with all these concerns, AI fixes a lot of concerns, and that's the big thing, and that's why people are scared, because when something is better than you get intimidated. I know I'm not the most attractive guy in the world, so I don't take my girlfriend around rich, attractive guys, because I know that I, like AI or the human experience, could get replaced. Like, I don't bring any women around you, Mr. Farrar. You're a big, powerful millionaire lawyer. You could snatch my girl up like that, and I'd be looking silly. I'd be mad at you, but really, it's me.
Well, not unless she's attracted to my Social Security check, because that's all I'm getting. I don't know why you keep calling me a multi-billionaire. You have me confused with Dottie Herman. That's a whole different show. Okay.
That's part of his act right there. That's part of his act. That's how he lures them in with the humble routine, and then he shows them a jet ski.
God, Alex, help me out here, because I think.
All right. Well, what I want to say is, I don't know if Mert's alluding to this. In addition to spending a lot of money on the college education, now people are wanting to go spend money on AI classes. So there's even more money being invested in this that we're not even talking about.
Right. Because now you have to go back for more schooling or to learn whatever specialty.
And maybe there's an unwillingness to do that. That's why they're booing.
Yeah, well
that
after
makes
4
sense.
years of torture, Alex, and $200,000 or whatever the number is, I would be unhappy too. Okay,
absolutely. And you know what? I was just thinking when Mert was talking about it, the cashiers, the baristas, and all these jobs might be replaced. Maybe these people that are at those jobs are frustrated about that.
Well, wait till the robots get perfected, and you're right. We won't need to start, whatever Starbucks barista. That'll all be done by computers and robots. But we're not quite there yet. The topic tonight is this booing of AI and the kids reacting in a very unfavorable way. And you know what? It sends a message to Wall Street, Mert. The kids are not stupid. Okay? Don't you celebrate something that's out to destroy me and my family.
No, listen.
That's the problem.
The kids,
don't you honor something, whether you want to call it industrial revolution or not, that's going to make me homeless, because I won't be. Look, affordability is already an issue, Mert. That's what we hear every day. Affordability, problem with real estate, problem with rental market, problem with buying, problem with living. And now you get college degrees that are worthless, basically. What are you doing to these poor kids?
Well, you're making money off of them, and
not
what
me.
will happen?
Not me. I'm not making money. Are you talking about these
I'm
education?
talking about Wall Street. See, look, you're a hit dog with Holly, so maybe you are making money off some of these kids. But I'll say this: Wall Street, big business, big corporations, they're going to catch on. They're going to catch on.
They better watch out.
There is a movement to be anti-technology, and it'll be similar to the hippie movement, and something did in the hippie movement back in the day, because at a certain point America was all about business and improving, and everybody was concerned about jobs. And then the 60s hits, and then you see a starch departure. You see people growing their hair out, starting to be more creative, starting to embrace culture and all that type of stuff a little bit more, which led the way to experiencing and exploring electronics and all that type of stuff, if you ask me. So the same thing is happening now. It just looks a little bit differently. We are going through another hippie. It looks a little different,
Mert, if I may interrupt. It looks a little different because it's probably happening so quickly. Okay? Last 30 or 40 years, I've never seen something happen this quickly. I've never seen an invention, an innovation that has rendered college degrees virtually worthless. When in your short lifetime, have you seen anything like that? Alex, how about you?
Well, wait
I
a
am
minute.
not.
Right. Well, that's what we're facing, and that's what this conversation
Well,
is
slow
about.
down, slow down, slow down.
Look, in 2024, Stanford's AI researcher Fei Li said something that I agree with. Okay, this is what she said, Mert. We need an education system that prepares students for an AI world, and right now we do not have that. She said that in 2024. What have these universities been doing over the years?
Listen,
That's one of the most respected voices in the field, by the way. So when grads boo AI, they're not booing the future, Mert. They're booing the very institutions that failed to prepare them for it. Okay? That's right. While charging record tuition and delivering outdated skills. And honestly, I can't blame them. Go ahead, finish your thought, because I think that's what the revolution is about. The reaction to these statements and these commencement speeches are about.
Well, there's been plenty of revolutions. You just haven't been sensitive to them. I mean, just imagine if you were the beeper guy and that was your whole life, and in 5 years the beeper was obsolete. Or just imagine you were the BlackBerry guy. Or just imagine, a number of the Motorola guy, whatever. Things have become obsolete to become more efficient. We got rid of buttons on phones.
Right.
So that
The record stores are obsolete now. I mean,
yes. The touch screen is more efficient. Everything is going to more efficient.
This is a different script. Mert. And by that I mean, we used to tell kids, go to college, get a degree, a good job will follow. Now that script is broken, and no one really knows what to say. Let me ask you, Mert, would you tell a kid to go to college and get a political science degree today?
Yeah, I'd tell them to do that if that's what they want to do.
Well, I don't know. I think
because eventually they're going to figure out a way where people don't have to work, so you're not going to have to worry about going to, make $100,000 a year anyway. They're going to figure this out because...
Well, if the government's going to take
going,
care of us like they do in Dubai or all these other rich countries, where everybody gets a check every week because they're so wealthy from the oil and the other resources, I don't think people would mind that. But we're not there yet. And when I look that on graduation, I'm not going to have a job to support myself or my family. That's a very, very frightening thing.
Listen, it's not frightening me, but I can understand why you'd be scared. But just think about it. You can't have 1 million plumbers or 1 billion plumbers running around because that would get cheapened too. So it's
I wouldn't
always
mind a cheap plumber, by the way. But I know your point.
Yeah, I know. You're full of something. That's why.
Oh, my God. He's attacking me, Alex. Let's call HR.
I'll have AI do that, okay?
No, but listen, I agree with you. It saturates the market, and of course that makes any career or profession less valuable. But we need a shift. And we need a terrible shift.
And it's so funny, right? Because a lot of these kids are getting grown up on technology, and now they're afraid of it. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for people to go back to trade schools, do the plumbing, do the electrical, instead of just be on their phone all day.
Yeah, that's right. But, bottom line, my friends, the class of 2026 isn't rejecting the future. They're demanding one worth graduating into. Booing isn't productive, but it got our attention. And these viral moments are symptoms of a deeper anxiety. Will we adapt wisely, like Merck is suggesting? Or will we let fear and hype divide us? That's the real commencement question. Now, while you ponder that, I'm pleased to announce you're listening to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas live. Hey, what happened, Alex? There you go. We're truly honored to have you along with us for the ride. Newsflash, this is episode 99. Would you believe it? Let's hear an amen. Amen. This is Lucas Ferrara, and we're ever mindful that without you, we are nothing, and we're truly grateful for your support. We've got some great guests in store for you today, but before we unleash them, let me introduce you to a man that you've already heard from, my esteemed co-host, the one nobody in this universe messes with. Of course, I'm talking about the one, the only man of the people, Mert Roberts, engineering and producing the show, Alex Garrett. He's got a 5-star rated podcast, One Leg Up with Alex Garrett. Please check it out. Master Control, we We've got Hermine Santos. We love you, Hermine. After the break, we're going to be joined by the Honorable Dov Hikind. He's the former New York State Assembly member and a leading voice on combating anti-Semitism. And we're going to talk about the Israeli Day Parade and who didn't show up for it. So don't you dare drift. Don't blink. Shake it off with Mert, Alex, and all of us at AM 970 will return after these messages. When we come back, Dov Hikind steps into the conversation. He's an outspoken advocate who refuses to stay silent about anti-Semitism, including from the mayor of New York.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Born on America's darkest day of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes ever since. Heroes like United States Army Specialist Anthony Vargas. After the terrorist attacks on 9/11, Anthony's patriotism and love for our country drove him to enlist in the Army. He served honorably and dreamed of one day serving in the NYPD. While on deployment, Anthony was killed instantly when an IED detonated near his unit. He left behind his beloved wife Louisa, their children, and his siblings. Tunnel to Towers honored his memory by paying off the Vargas family's mortgage, giving his family a stable, forever home. Help more families like the Vargas family. Your donation today can make a world of difference, bringing hope and security to those who gave everything. Donate $11 a month. Go to t2t.org. That's T2T.org.
250 years of freedom. And AM 970 is ready to celebrate. From the Founding Fathers to today, America's story is one worth honoring. And this June, AM 970 is doing just that, right here in the heart of New York City. On Tuesday, June 23rd, from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m., join AM 970 and the Times Square Alliance as Joe Piscopo, Kevin McCullough, Christine Nicholas, Arthur Idella, and other top broadcasters take to the airwaves live, honoring 250 years of the greatest nation on earth. No tickets, no registration. Just show up, soak it in, and celebrate. Then, on Wednesday, June 24th at 6 p.m., the party moves inside for an unforgettable evening. Patriots, pasta, and Piscopo. Join SNL superstar and our own esteemed morning man, Joe Piscopo. Plus, American tenor Chris Macchio for a night of patriotic live performance and Italian cuisine in the legendary Sinatra Room at Carmine's in Times Square. It's one night, limited seats, and pure American spirit. Seating is limited for Patriots, pasta, and Piscopo. So reserve your tickets today. Text CELEBRATE to 94878 or visit am970theanswer.com. Mark your calendars and get ready to celebrate America. In his new movie, The Dragon's Prophecy, Dinesh D'Souza brings the new Middle East into focus.
Could the fate of the world, of humanity itself, be somehow tied to this place?
At long last, we have peace in the Middle East.
Israel and Christians are coming together in a way they have never been before.
But is this the end of Hamas and radical Islam? The Dragon's Prophecy is powerful, prophetic, a must-see movie. Now available on Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes.
Everything old is new again on Nostalgia Tonight with Joe Sibilia. Join Joe as he celebrates the people, places, and phenomena that shaped popular culture. Sunday nights at 10 on AM 970, The Answer.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
So, Lucas, that is no love tonight. So that's what we're working on, trying to get the Assemblyman right now.
Do we have our guest on the line?
We do not as of yet, but I will let you know.
Oh, my goodness. We are waiting for Dov Hiken, who is a former New York State Assembly member who represented Brooklyn's 48th District for more than 3 decades. And he was scheduled to be on, but we are having technical difficulties reaching him. What do you think, Bert?
Now, imagine if an AI assistant or robot was just sitting there in Dov Hiken's head and said, listen, we have an interview scheduled at this time. I know it's short notice. You know, we had to reschedule. He made it happen. He's really coming through because we had to lose a guest. So imagine if we had an AI system set up where he could just instantly know it's time to go right there on with Merton Lucas. And that exists. See, that's why AI technology is so important. And it's very important that you brought it up. It's a good topic you brought up. Because you have to understand that if you're a young person out there, do not hate technology. You have to look within yourself and you have to adapt, because that's what humanity is all about. It's about looking at the wilderness and saying, how can we protect ourselves from that? It's about looking at a lack of food. Oh, the crops are about to be destroyed. How can we adapt to that? It's about looking at
medicine, cancer, medical treatments. I get what you're saying, my friend.
There you go.
I understand that
humanity has to adapt constantly. A human who doesn't adapt turns into an old computer, something that's out of date. You die. So don't listen. All the college kids, listen to old Mert here. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen how things work. You're going to be stronger because of it.
How are they going to be stronger, my friend? Because the young people are saying they want a future where humans still matter. Creatively, or, with originality, empathy, not everything optimized by algorithms. That's the problem, my friend. You're talking about algorithms when human beings are saying, how do I live? Now look, economists are split, okay? Some, like those at Goldman Sachs, Mert, project that AI could displace 6 to 7% of workers over a decade, with bigger hits to knowledge work. So we're talking about almost 10% of people losing a job thanks to AI, losing their way to support themselves. This is what the problem is, my friend. Not the good things that can come from innovation in AI and the improvements that AI might bring, but the harm that it brings as well.
Well, listen, if we want to go through and ask everybody what they care about and what are your feelings on this and that, then we'll have a million different opinions on what everybody should value. You have somebody who values everybody should have a rose garden. Everybody shouldn't eat meat. Everybody should have access to video games. A million people would give you a million things. But when you get that voyeuristic look into what people actually care about, you'll see people care about having every piece of information at their disposal by just going onto their laptop or their cell phone. They'll tell you how you would be able to see how everybody's using AI to write emails and do all this stuff, but they're afraid of everybody else using it, but they want to use it themselves. You see, humanity will always speak out loud about what is comfortable with you knowing, oh, I want you to know that I care about the environment. But it won't show that human flying to 500 different parties all over the world on private jets. This is the inconsistency with humanity. And all these kids who are complaining, all these people who are complaining about, oh, technology is evil, we don't like technology. If you go into their house, they'll have Netflix subscriptions, they'll have a coffee maker that's connected to their cell phone, so they don't even have to get up. It can already be set when they wake up, and it's on a timer, an alarm, and it's already there for them when that alarm clock goes off in the morning. So all these people complaining stop using the stuff, stop buying the stuff, and it would never emerge like it has in the first place. But you won't see that because everybody understands what's going on. You're using the stuff, but you're afraid of it because you see just how powerful it is.
I'm using it, but it's not replacing me. And so
it
far,
is replacing you.
I haven't lost my job yet, okay? At some point, do I think attorneys might be obsolete? There is certainly a possibility, right? What do you need attorneys for if you've got machines that could adjudicate or decide disputes in a fair, arguably in a fair and impartial way, right?
Well, no offense, but an attorney is just somebody who follows the rules. And if I can put into a machine my contract and it can go through and find all the rules and we can refine this AI technology where it's doing it correctly, then I don't need somebody who can enforce the rules. A non-biased arbiter in this technology will do that for everybody. So everybody should be afraid because humanity has never been about sticking to the same old. It's always been about expressing creativity. So if you're afraid of a machine doing something over and over again that you feel like is going to take your job, it is up to us to get creative and figure out a way where we can improve the value of a human being because the value is coming down. I can tell any AI platform to write me an essay on any topic and it'll do it instantly. Now that's frightening if you're in the business of writing essays and you realize you got to write it, review it, look up all this information, do a bunch of homework. But this AI technology can do all that and have a bibliography. That was the hardest part, just citing all your sources, stuff like that.
Yep. You know what? The machine can already go through contracts and point out problems in contracts. It can point out things that you should ask your adversary about. It's a very helpful tool, and I think it may make the lawyers or some lawyers outdated. But you make a good point, though. There's a very pro-AI side, and they make the argument that the Industrial Revolution, for example, displaced artisans. Things were made by hand. But factories, as a result of factories, cities grew, and there was massive wealth that was generated. Computers in the 80s and 90s, as you mentioned before, wiped out typists and some administrative jobs, but birthed the internet economy. And look at the billions that's made on the internet. Amazon is just one of those prime examples, right? Look at Facebook and look at Instagram. Look at all these companies that thrive as a result of the internet. So, and else we also mentioned AI could unlock breakthroughs in medicine, climate, tech. So we need to work with this change. The problem, as I said before, though, Mert, is the education system is not aligned with that. They are many years behind. And I don't know how they're going to adapt, how universities are going to adapt. They're behind the wheel on this.
You don't rely on a university to create the next big thing.
Well, if you're going to study, right? If I'm going to a certain college, No.
I hear what you're saying, but you might learn something. You might learn a skill set that'll help you do something that already exists. But it takes pioneers. It takes leaders to take us into the next generations, the next incarnations of what society will be. And getting away from this idea that, man, my degree is worthless, so I am now worthless, is probably a good thing to keep promoting that, because I have noticed there has been a concentrated effort to monetize every little video on your phone, monetize every piece of content. We're headed in that direction, and that direction isn't a good direction as well, because monetizing videos, everybody becoming a content creator, that's not a good existence, because what is it really producing? The fact that AI can reproduce a lot of stuff, make full-length films with just AI technology. No actors needed. It is something remarkable.
I think people are rebelling, my friend, and particularly the show business, filmmakers are rebelling about the use of AI. But we'll continue this discussion after the break. So stay tuned. Dov Hiken was unable to join us due to some technical difficulty. We'll try to get him on some other time. It's unfortunate, but hey, this is a live show, and you know what happens. Anyway, we'll be back after these commercial messages. Stay tuned. More Shake It Up with Mert and Lucas live.
Here's Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 55 East 59th Street, New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate. Hey, it's Joe Piscopo. You know, I love America, and I'm so excited to celebrate America's 250th. AM 970 has put together a really special event called Patriots, Pasta, and Piscopo, featuring yours truly and my dear friend Christopher Macchio, America's tenor. We're going to be live at Carmine's in their private room called the Sinatra Room. Doesn't get more old school New York than that. I'm telling you, this is going to be a special night of patriotism as we celebrate our great nation, our history, and our future. You don't want to miss it. It's happening at Carmine's in Times Square on Wednesday, June 24th. Seating is limited. Get your tickets now for Patriots, Pasta, and Piscopo with yours truly and Christopher Macchio.
AM 970 is announcing an exclusive ticket release. We are releasing a limited amount of special pricing through May 31st. If you've been waiting to join us, this is the best opportunity to secure your spot before pricing returns to standard rates.
Portions of the proceeds will support the Equal First Aid charity, courtesy of LifeVac. Text CELEBRATE to 94878 or go to am970theanswer.com and click the banner for tickets. That's am970theanswer.com for Patriots, Pasta, and Piscopo.
Wish there was an easier way to navigate the world of real estate? If only there was a way to learn from the best. Well, now there is. Saturdays at 10 a.m., our very own Dottie Herman, Vice Chair of Douglas Elliman, gives you the inside track to what is hot in real estate. Stay one step ahead in today's seller's market as Dottie gives her tips on how to make it through the tricky waters of real estate. Doesn't matter if you're new to the game or a seasoned vet, you need to listen to Eye on Real Estate. Dottie and her terrific team of experts will guide you as sellers and buyers to make sure you're getting the best value for your property. Whether you want to become a real estate agent or work within the business, there's no better person to learn from than the great Dottie Herman. She's a legend. She's the best, period. Tune in to Eye on Real Estate, Saturdays at 10 a.m., here on AM 970, The Answer. That's Eye on Real Estate. Don't miss it, Saturdays at 10 a.m. here on AM 970, The Answer.
RedState.com captures the pulse of grassroots conservatism. Red State staff of contributors are on top of breaking news with stories and analysis that challenge the established agenda. RedState.com educates, motivates, and activates passionate conservatives across America, arming them with the facts that put them ahead of the political curve. No wonder RedState.com is a must-read for elected officials and for citizens who want to make their vote count. RedState.com is the place where influence meets action. Log on to RedState.com today.
Everything old is new again on Nostalgia Tonight with Joe Sibilia. Join Joe as he celebrates the people, places, and phenomena that shape popular culture. Sunday nights at 10 on AM 970, The Answer.
We are back. Dov Hikind, former New York State Assemblyman, was scheduled to join us this evening, but due to a technical difficulty, we were unable to have him on, and we hope to have him on again in the future. We've been talking about AI and kids at graduation ceremonies throughout the country, booing and hissing speakers who've been pro-AI. We're talking about the new industrial revolution caused by AI and why and what are the underlying factors. One of the questions I wanted to ask you, Mert, movies. We touched upon it before we went to the commercial. With more frequency now, they are creating films, short films, feature films, using substantial amount of AI, or if not in the entirety. I believe there are a couple of films out there entirely AI, no human actors, no real sets, no real filmed scenes. Everything is artificially created. Some of it looks very beautiful.
Right.
But I refuse, and there are some film festivals, by the way, that will not accept any film that's created using AI. I sort of respect that, because why do you want to reward a machine for what it's produced? You want to reward a human for a film that's connecting with humanity. I think it's a big mistake to allow the arts to go the AI route. Again, it's replacing humanity, where even actors, Mert, are no longer required. Isn't that a scary thing?
Well, it is.
And people are falling in love.
Whoa, hold on.
People are falling. No, let me finish the thought. People are falling in love with actors and actresses, right, that don't really exist.
Okay. Listen.
You're okay with that?
Yeah, that's what people always do. They, you think you really have a shot with Halle Berry or something like that?
But at least she exists. She's breathing, at least as far as I know.
She might as well be a character, because at least you could buy a video game or something where you could talk to this, this fake AI person you're falling in love with, and they give you some interaction. Try doing that with a real celebrity. However, I'll say this.
Why, that makes it better? I don't want to interact with a computer-generated image of a celebrity. What is that about? That's pure nonsense.
Who said anything about you? You just said there are people out there falling in love with this stuff.
Yeah.
Don't try to put yourself in their shoes when they're already in their shoes and they like walking around in their shoes. They like the artificial relationships. You see it already with these, these artificial, life-size dolls that you could, have an artificial relationship with and get physical with. They have these things that exist currently in this time today. Now, I'll say this about the movie point. There will be a point in time where we're going to fracture off, and it's going to be a Neanderthal type movement. It's going to be the people who either merge with this technology and they'll keep thriving. And, when you all of a sudden have all this stuff in your mind already, maybe you won't be so intimidated by it. But the people who fail to embrace it and to become one with technology, they will go the way of Neanderthals, and they will be obsolete, and they will no longer exist. Humanity is moving on.
So be it. And Bert, let me interrupt you because we have the honor of having Shahar Azani. He is the former Israeli diplomat and former spokesperson of the Israeli consulate in New York. And it is a pleasure and honor that he's joining us last minute to talk about some of the things we wanted to speak to the Honorable Dov Hikind about. Mr. Azani, are you on the line?
I am, and a pleasure to be with you today. What a gorgeous day in New York City.
Thank you so much for joining us. We only have about 10 minutes, and we did want to talk about the Israel Day Parade today, and someone that was conspicuously absent. And I think it is a disgrace that person, this is my opinion, was conspicuously absent from today's ceremony. I think it sends the wrong message to New Yorkers, and I wanted to get your input and your insight. Should New Yorkers be concerned, and how should they react to his absence?
Well, thank you very much for the question. So today was a fabulous day on Israel Day on Fifth Avenue, and it was a day of celebration, the biggest Jewish celebration in New York, the biggest Jewish community outside of Israel. The Jewish community in New York City has always been a love story. Jews historically have contributed so much to the culture and viability of this beautiful city of ours. And for over 6 decades, every mayor has been present in this celebration. And here you have the current individual who sits on the chair in City Hall has decided that he's not going to continue with this tradition, sending a clear message about what he really thinks about the Jewish community and Jews in general, claiming that supposedly this is a political celebration rather than what it really is, a celebration of the Jewish community and its achievements and the miraculous nature of the Jewish state. And this kind of hypocrisy is clear coming from this individual, because when he went to celebrate with the Chinese community downtown, the Chinese New Year, did that mean that he supports the policies of the Chinese government vis-a-vis Muslims and their persecution of Muslim Uyghurs in China? No. He went there to celebrate with Chinese New Yorkers who are part of this beautiful texture of this city. But then again, what's the surprise? This is a person whose first step was removing the IRA definition of anti-Semitism from city records, which really breathes wind in the sails of anti-Semitism. This is somebody who supported the mob that stormed Park East Synagogue twice in November and later earlier this year. I mean, we know where he stands on these issues, and this is a concern, like you said, not just for the Jewish community. The question here is, how could we as New Yorkers elect someone who is incubated in hate, who doesn't build bridges between the communities of this beautiful city, but builds wall of alienation between them? This is bad for the city, and this is bad for each and every one of us. And I hope that every New Yorker is taking this into account next time this individual makes empty promises about buses, finances, and crime.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a great unifier, but he's not. And of course, if listeners are wondering, we're talking about the mayor of the city of New York, who I'm no big fan of. But I think symbolically he should have attended the parade. But look, my friend, he has been snubbing Jews consistently. His wife has been snubbing Jews consistently. And by the way, he hasn't been so nice to Christians either. Have you noticed? He didn't attend the installation of the bishop, here in New York at the St. Patrick's Cathedral. He is sending a message that his focus is on Islam, and I think that's of concern to many, many people. Should we be concerned about the rise of anti-Semitism in particular? Because over history, over time, it's always started with anti-Semitic movements, but then it's expanded.
Very, very true. You know, we know that what starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews, and what starts with the state of the Jews, that is Israel, never ends with the state of Israel, but rather presents itself globally. You know, I'm a graduate of the 90s, where in Israel we've seen the emergence of suicide terrorist attacks perpetrated by the same vile, filthy terrorist organization, Hamas, that perpetrated October 7th. And it didn't take long before the very same kind of vile act took place in this beautiful city of New York, targeting the Twin Towers. We know that what starts there doesn't end there. And what we're seeing here, when Mayor Mamdani and others are behaving the way they do, they're sending a clear message to those out there who seek to harm others. You know, I just spoke with the beautiful Jewish community in Detroit, where 5 minutes from where I spoke in March, a Dearborn resident who was an American naturalized citizen who came to this country from Lebanon in 2011 and became an American in 2016, drove a pickup truck filled with explosives into a Jewish nursery in West Bloomfield, Michigan. By the grace of the Almighty, 109 souls of infants have been spared. But it's quite clear that when we don't stand up to this evil, when we continue to ambassadorize messages like Mamdani did of globalize the Intifada, we are fomenting violence. So don't tell me that you're fighting anti-Semitism while paying lip service to whatever you think should be said, while at the same time you are sending a clear message that the Jewish community is an open hunting season. And we're seeing it in New York, and we're seeing it beyond, and that's dangerous for a societal decay within society as a whole. It's dangerous for Jews, for Muslims, for everyone in this city to have that kind of violence. We have a a beautiful America and a beautiful New York, and we have to continue to shine as a beacon of light unto the entire world rather than succumb to the kind of hatred that this mayor is importing into this place. You know, I'll never forget the statement that he made a couple of years ago. Whenever you feel the boot of the NYPD on your neck, know that it's been laced by the IDF. That tells you the whole story. His despicable attitude towards the heroes who serve the city and his deeply rooted anti-Semitism doesn't have any place in our city, in our culture, in our society.
We're speaking with the Honorable Shahar Azani. He's the former Israeli diplomat and former spokesperson of the Israeli consulate in New York. Let me ask you, Honorable Azani, the war in the Middle East, do you think we're on the right track, or is this not going to end well? Because we keep hearing about peace, but and then Netanyahu sort of sending a different kind of message. Where are we? What's your opinion on that?
No. If you follow traditional, classic, what we call the mainstream media outlets, you may get the impression as if the grand power of the United States is being succumbed by the Islamic Republic. But I urge each and every one of us to think at the very core of what we're seeing in the Middle East. You have the Islamic Republic of Iran. This is a terrorist regime that has been at war, first and foremost, with its own people, raping, torturing, imprisoning, and tormenting its very youngsters. In the last internal clashes in January, the estimate was over 30,000 people who were butchered by this regime. This is a regime that has taken the immense wealth of the empire of Persia and has invested billions of dollars in building terrorist networks in the Middle East, in giving weapons to Islamic Jihad and Hamas in Israel, West Bank, and Gaza, in supporting Shiite terrorist Hezbollah in Lebanon that has taken hold of this country's sovereignty, supporting the Houthis in Yemen, and immiserating millions of people there who are susceptible to plagues and horrible diseases. And here you have the United States of America and Israel stand up to this evil and decide to launch a war that is heavily bent on morality and the desire to create a better future. Imagine a regime like that holding nuclear weapons. The cost of a gallon of gas will be the least of your concerns if such a messianic evil regime puts their hands on something like this. Because I know that there are many people who think that it's only about Israel, but in their terminology, we are the small Satan. The United States is the big Satan. And here you have the President of the United States of America and the incredible U.S. Army taking action against this regime. So I think that whatever happens, there was a clear message that was sent by the United States to this region that there is no room in our world for rogue actors, that they will never have nuclear weapons. And I do hope and pray that while we were able to shake the foundations of this regime, it will pass from this world internally through internal pressure from its own people. And may they see a brighter tomorrow thanks to the bravery of our heroes who put their lives on the line for a better tomorrow. We just had Memorial Day to honor that exact same thing.
Amen. Unfortunately, Honorable Azani, we have run out of time. It was a pleasure and honor having you on the show. Would you please come back on, because this is something we need to spend more time on. That was Shahar Azani, former Israeli diplomat and former spokesperson of the Israeli consulate in New York. My friend, thank you, and may peace reign supreme. Next up,
absolute pleasure and joy.
Bishop Alfred L. Phillips, a Brooklyn pastor, educator, and visionary leader, who founded the Anointed by God Alliance, along with multiple education institutions, will be joining us after the break. He's currently the pastor of the historic First Baptist Church of Sheepshead Bay. My voice is going, so it's imperative that you come back after the news at the top of the hour, suffer through a few commercial messages, but once that's all done, Mert, Alex, I, along with the rest of the AM 970 team, will be waiting right here for you. We know you want it. We know you want to shake it off with us. We know you do. So please come back for hour 2 of Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas Live. Lots more controversy and maybe, just maybe, some answers await. Catch your breath while you can, because after the break, Bishop Phillips arrives and the conversation is about to get a whole lot deeper.
The preceding hour of programming, sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.
Life is a song. And what if your faith could help you hit the high notes? Grammy-nominated and Dove Award-winning artist Torrin Wells invites you into The High Note.
It's The High Note.
A podcast about real life, real struggles, and a real God who meets you right where you are. With honesty, insight, and encouragement, Torrin tackles the issues you're facing every day and helps you rise above the noise. If you're ready for a fresh perspective on your faith, tune in to The High Note podcast with Torrin Wells.
Welcome to The High Note.
Available now wherever you get your podcasts.